All right, so episode 2 of the Lukewarm Takes podcast. Luke Lyons, Brad Doss. So last week we talked Golden State, Cleveland. There was a glimmer of hope. There was a ray of sunshine in the clouds, and then Golden State just came out and put it to Cleveland. So they won in 5, which is what I predicted originally way back when. Pre-podcast days, I thought Golden State would win in 5. So just overall thoughts on the finals and the Warriors winning.
I'm depressed.
That it's over, or that Golden State has 2 titles?
I'm depressed that Golden State won. I don't know. I was watching Game 5, and the Cavs looked good in the first quarter. And in the second quarter, Golden State went on a run. It was like 22-3 or some crazy run, and then
in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, a 22-2 run.
Yeah.
How?
Like, really?
How the hell does that happen?
Yeah. I mean, because I was like, you know what? After the first quarter, I was feeling good.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, Cleveland's got this. We'll go to Cleveland, get 6, and then Game 7. But it went on that run, and then, I mean, Cleveland didn't let them get way away. They kept it within, 10 most of the game.
They only lost by 9.
Yeah. But it just stayed at that 8 to 12 point range difference, and they just couldn't ever make it up.
And I feel like with Golden State, you've got to be up by 25-30. And even that, sometimes...
To feel comfortable, yeah.
And even that isn't a comforting feeling, because I've seen Golden State come back from 25-30 before. So, I guess, what does this do? Obviously, KD, he wins the MVP. He's the talk of the finals. Can he finally do it? He doesn't blow 3-1 this year. I mean, everyone is talking about, I've heard guys mention that he's now the best player in the NBA. But what does this actually do for KD? He's not the best player in the NBA, right?
No.
That's still LeBron James.
Do you think so?
Hell no.
Okay, good.
I actually think Russell Westbrook is still a better all-around player than KD. I would take James and Westbrook right now over KD. But KD's probably like a
over
close
KD
third
Steph.
place. You mean as a pair?
Yeah, like pair.
Oh man,
together.
Westbrook and LeBron, I don't think would
yeah.
coexist well together. But I think that as a pair, Kyrie and LeBron, I'd take KD and Steph over Kyrie and LeBron. But that's just because I think Curry is a little bit better than Kyrie right now.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that there is like a top flight guard that can mesh with LeBron? We kind of jumped off topic. But
No, it's okay. I think Kyrie Irving is a top flight guard. I would say it's Curry and then Kyrie are the 2 best point guards in the league right now. Russell Westbrook to me is not a point guard. To me, he's a combo guard who happens to just be 6'4". Because he's probably the second best player in the league next to LeBron. But I don't think there's any. The Cavs pretty much are gonna have to bring in someone to combat this Warriors team.
Yeah.
I don't know who, and we'll
have to get to that.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
I have some notes on that. I was doing research there about how much they're messed up there, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah.
But I mean, as far as KD's legacy, does this make him an all-time great?
No, I don't think. I don't know. I was thinking a lot about this question because it's like it's going to be memorable.
Sure.
It's going to be memorable. With the numbers he was averaging. I have it here. He finished 35, 8, and 5. Those were his
unbelievable.
averages.
Scored 30 in all 5 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to average that in 5 games in the finals and win 4-1 against LeBron James with that high-powered offense that scored 130 every game, it seemed like. I mean, he's going to be memorable, but I don't think it makes him like a top 10 player all time. I don't think it cracks into anything.
Do you think
that he wasn't already in?
How about this? Scottie Pippen better than KD? If you could have Scottie in his prime or KD right now, who would you take?
I feel like if I'm going to build a team around that person, maybe KD.
Let's say you've got a couple of stars. Let's say it's the Warriors.
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard because I don't know. I mean, you kind of want to build that super team anymore. That's what everyone's shooting for.
The way the NBA is going, yeah.
So, I don't know. I would say with the scoring ability of KD in today's NBA, I guess I'm going to go Kevin.
I liked Scotty's defense. I think Scotty's defense was underrated. And I think Kevin Durant is a decent defender, but I think like anyone in this era, except for maybe a handful of guys, there's not a great defender. And, I mean, LeBron, I think, is a great defender. I think DeAndre Jordan is a great defender. Dwight Howard, 5-6 years ago, was a great defender. But I think KD is a top-flight player right now, but I wouldn't go all-time great. I wouldn't lump him with Scotty and James Worthy and guys who are great, but not that upper echelon of MJ and Larry and Kobe and Shaq and Kareem.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't put him up there.
Would you go Karl Malone or Kevin Durant? Karl Malone prime, Kevin Durant right now.
Oh, man.
You've got a point guard. You've got a John Stockton, Steph Curry.
I don't know. I mean,
Karl Malone was a bad dude.
it's hard to say. Because, like this whole Scottie Pippen, like he plays defense. It's better defense, which is good, but I just like KD scoring in a game where 140 might not win you a game. You know what I mean? That's what I'm stuck on, really.
Yeah,
I'm just stuck on the shooting and scoring, and it's just so offensively powered.
Because Cleveland averaged over 120 points a game in the finals and lost in 5 games.
That's insane.
Yeah. Although I was watching the Lakers-Celtics best of enemies, and
damn it! I gotta catch that.
Boston won a conference finals game, I think, 148 to 114, and this was in 1984-85. So, I mean, it was high scoring back in the Showtime era too. But you're right, this is an offensive era, and Kevin Durant definitely fits into that sort of era very well. How about the Warriors? Are they an all-time great team? 73-9 last year. Don't win a final. This year they take less emphasis on the regular season, but they go 16-1 in the playoffs. Everyone compares them to the 95-96 Bulls, to some of those great Lakers teams. But are they? Are they a great all-time great team?
I gotta say that it's one of the top 5 seasons, maybe.
This season?
This season.
Just because of what they did in the playoffs? Because
they ended up winning the championship. Yeah, 16-1. I mean, that's impressive. Only one playoff win. The one thing that I am kind of questioning is, like, when they were playing the Spurs in Game 1, and the Spurs were winning, and then my boy went down.
Kawhi Leonard.
Went down. I mean...
Does that change the whole scope?
I mean, that's not... At the same time, do I really think the Spurs are going to beat them in a 7-game series? I don't know.
If there's anyone in the league who can shut down Kevin Durant, it's probably the best perimeter defender, Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. And I mean, the way I see it is if the Spurs are at full strength, yeah, they might not have got through them, but what if they push them to Game 7? That makes their playoff run a lot less impressive.
Had they had less rest than Cleveland going into the finals, that might have tipped the scale for Cleveland, too. Because Cleveland is a team that likes to be well-rested. Golden State, I think, is a team that likes to be hot and motoring.
Yeah, they're kind of like NFL. You don't want that bye week, They want to just play out.
Exactly.
But I mean, I don't know. At the same time, I got to say it was a top 5 season that they had. I mean, they're pretty much untouchable most of the year. Like you said, they lost when they have 67 wins.
15 losses.
Yeah, so
that's not too bad.
Not too bad. I mean, they had more playoff wins than they had regular season losses.
In the last 2 years, almost.
Yeah.
I mean, they've lost 24 games regular season in the last 2 years. And they lost...
And they have 2 titles in 3 years. I mean, when I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't know, because I just feel like the competition level was it's low. It's just, it is that you're only going to compete with 1 or 2 teams. But then at the same time, like, I don't know, can you really knock them for the competition being bad? Like, I mean, they're a great team. If they're in a different era, I still think they're going to be great. Maybe not as dominant.
67-15 though in the West is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I mean, that is the tougher of the 2 conferences. I don't think it's that much better than the East, but you're right. I mean, the competition. I'm gonna get blowback from this because I think this is an argument. I think the competition in the '90s when the Bulls were going 72-10 and 66-16, I think was better. I think it was more spread out. Obviously, you didn't have the super teams. You had the Sonics, who had a couple of superstars. You had the Jazz, obviously. You had the Knicks. Shaq was still with Orlando. Kobe was young. He was a rookie with the Lakers. So I do kind of think the competition maybe weakens Golden State's argument for an all-time great team. But you're right. I mean, they had almost as many playoff wins as they have losses in the last 2 seasons in the regular season. That in basketball is absurd, especially when you think about the Cavs lose almost 30 games a year, still get to the finals.
I would say the Cavs were they won 55.
I think 55. Yeah, 55 and 27.
So I mean, the Cavs didn't even take the 1 seed.
Boston was the top seed in the East.
Yeah. So I don't know where do you have them? Do you have their do you have their season in the top 5, top 10
of all time?
Top 20.
I mean, I would probably say this season alone, top 20 seasons of all time, probably top 15 seasons of all time. I think the run, though, this 3-year run is probably top 10. I mean, but you got to look at some of these Boston Celtics teams from the 60s that, they won 8 straight titles. You look at the Lakers, Celtics in the 80s, those 2 teams. The Pistons, late 80s, early 90s, that went back-to-back. The 95-96 team, 95-96 Bulls team, that is, I think still the best team of all time. 72-10, won a championship, only lost 3 games that postseason. So it's hard for me to part ways with saying that 95-96 Bulls team isn't the best team of all time, or even the 72 Lakers. They won, the 32 consecutive games, were 69-13, back in an era where teams lost 20 games every year. So it's hard for me to put them above that team, but they're probably the best team since the three-peat Lakers, I would say. That team was dominant the early 2000s.
And that was so about 15 years, you're saying, huh?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like you're overlooking the Tim Duncan era.
You know what bothers me about the Tim Duncan era is it spanned almost my entire life.
It was too long.
It was 96 years. You are right, though, because with Pop, Duncan, you had David Robinson for the first one, and then you got Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and then toward the end of that run, you had Kawhi Leonard come up. So they've always restocked talent, but I think because they spread those championships out so much, that's why I have a hard time saying that they had an all-time great run or season. I think they're one of the best teams of all time.
Possibly maybe the best decade. Well, besides the 8 straight championships, I find
besides maybe the Celtics. Or, the Bulls won 6 in the 90s, so it's hard to top that too. And really, San Antonio, their first was that 99 blocked out year where we had the strike. So they really kind of span almost 3 decades, really, because
I got into it,
yeah. It really started in 99-2000 and then ended, and really hasn't even ended. They could still win a title if they can get a piece or two, like CP3 or...
Yeah, that's true.
So it's ongoing.
It's too hard, yeah. They're kind of like the Patriots, almost.
That's a good...
Patriots have been on a damn 20-year run, almost.
And there's years where San Antonio should have won and didn't, like New England. Mm-hmm. And then there's years where you don't think they're going to win, and they do, like New England. They just don't have pretty boy Tom Brady at the helm.
I got
Kawhi.
Tim Duncan didn't talk.
No. Tim Duncan was boring.
Pop
is also boring.
He's surprisingly entertaining.
He's boring but entertaining. He's entertaining in the most boring way.
Exactly.
Or boring in the most
really mastered the boring entertainment.
But that's like Bill Belichick.
Oh yeah. Next question. We're gonna outscore them. They play better than we play. So yeah. It's hard. It's kind of hard to group it together, which is unfortunate because I feel like that hurts. I feel like no one really thinks about the Spurs. And Tim Duncan
deserves a lot more credit.
Does he have 5 rings?
4
or 5?
4 rings.
4 rings? Okay.
4 rings. He's been to 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they had to beat Detroit. They beat LeBron twice. And I think they beat the Knicks. the year that they won their first, and that was a good Knicks team.
I was gonna say it's not the Knicks team of 2017.
No, it wasn't even the Knicks team of 2005. Just that was the Allen Houston, Latrell Sprewell, I'm sure was still hanging around choking coaches.
Yeah.
So flipping the switch, let's talk about LeBron. He averaged a triple-double in the NBA Finals. First player ever to do that. Obviously, the knock is going to be that it was in a loss, a 5-1 loss. The talk was if he could win this final, maybe we'd start saying he was the greatest player of all time. But does this hurt his legacy to lose his 5th title?
Got to imagine losing 5. It doesn't look good to have a losing record, I guess,
But John Elway in the NFL is 2-3.
Well, if LeBron finishes on back-to-back championships, we'll probably forget, It's hard to say. But as of right now, I've got to say it affects it. I mean, to lose, it's impressive to go to 8, but to lose
especially
5.
He's gone to 7 in a row.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy. And like we were saying last week, he could go to 10 in a row, possibly.
Easily.
So, but, I mean, I don't know. I think it hurts it. Not too crazy, but I think that it's definitely people are going to look at it, and that's going to keep him out of the discussion as the greatest of all time, you know what I mean?
People like Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, Colin Cowherd. Well, I mean, Colin Cowherd is actually a big LeBron guy, but guys like that, I think, will let this deter them from calling LeBron. But they look for reasons to say LeBron is not the greatest player of all time. I mean, a triple-double, I really think this finals, the last 3 finals really have been less about LeBron and more about his supporting cast. Because Cleveland, to me, is not a super team. Are they a super team to you?
Not at all.
Kevin Love was terrible in the finals.
Awful.
JR decides he's going to shoot well when it doesn't matter anymore in Game 5.
In all fairness, did you see those 2 threes to close the second in Game 5?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
He did. He hit some threes from way out there.
But
Steph
rarely,
Curry
he's not
couldn't hit those.
I was going to say, he's definitely not a super team out there.
I think LeBron left it all out on the floor. Maybe for the first time in a finals that he lost. I think some of the other finals that he's lost, although the one 2 years ago, he was scoring 40 a night and doing everything he could. But, I mean, he played... There wasn't a moment in this series that he played terribly, except for when Kevin Durant would drive the lane. LeBron tended to get out of the way, but so would I.
Everyone in the NBA does anymore. There's very few people that are going to hop in front anyway, so I don't knock him for that. But, I mean, yeah, 34, 12, and 10 is what he was averaging
in the finals.
So, I mean, it's an amazing performance, but in sports, it's always about winning, The fact that he lost, I feel like that's going to get overlooked by the triple-double he averaged. But
why is it, though, that a team accomplishment is how we measure greatness?
I don't know.
I mean, there's 11 other guys that suit up and play.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's crazy. So if you look at it, I mean, LeBron was MVP of the series, I think.
I think so, too. KD played great, and to average 35 in the finals is fantastic. But LeBron James averaged a triple-double.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, without LeBron, they don't win a single game.
Yeah.
They probably get blown out by 30, 40 a night.
So it is. I don't know. I mean, I think LeBron's going to win more, too, though. I mean,
yeah.
I really could see LeBron going out like maybe 6-5, 6-6.
You think he'll get...
Is that crazy?
You think he'll win 3 more?
Yeah, 32. Gotta think he's got 8 more years.
That's a good segue. Let's get into this then. So where do the Cavs go from here then? How do they get LeBron to the point where he can win not 4, not 5, not 6?
Not 6? Well, my question is, after this year, after the 2017-2018 season, is it about what the Cavs are doing, or is he going to go to L.A.? So that's what everyone's saying.
You mean the purple and gold?
Either one.
I could see him in purple and gold before the blue and the red.
I've been seeing a lot of people saying that in 2018 he's going to opt out because he signed a 3-year deal, 30 years player option.
He's got the player option.
I keep hearing that he's going to leave and go to LA.
I know Hollywood is very much of his mind. There's the Kevin Hart, LeBron James, Twins, or Junior, whichever one. It's Junior, I think, remake that's supposed to happen. But you think he could go to LA?
I don't know, man. I was thinking that. Okay, so I was looking at the cap space for the Cavs right now. They have $125 million already dedicated to next season. They're already over.
They're going to have to move somebody if they want to bring someone in. Or someone's going to have to take a pay cut.
Yeah, and I mean, for them to compete with Golden State, I mean, like Tristan Thompson, do they get rid of him? He's got a $16 million contract.
How bad does that deal look? To give Tristan Thompson that much money to rebound.
50 mil. Yeah.
I mean, how crucial was he in the finals? He was a non-factor.
Not crucial for 50 mil.
No. So that deal's eating him up. What else?
Yeah.
What else do they have tied up? How much?
Shumpert is making 10.3 next year.
Iman Shumpert. Do they give him like $1 million for every hairstyle that he has?
I think that every 8 games he's got to switch it up.
Yeah.
To get the weight, like the Eddie Lacy weight cut bonus.
10.1 to Iman. I barely played this year, Shumpert.
I think it was him. He played 11 minutes in the finals, I believe. So he got paid about $1 million a minute if you just count final minutes.
Nice.
And then Fry's making 7.4 next year.
And Channing Frye will be 35 next year.
So with just those 3 players, they're at 35 million, I think. If I did the math right.
Those are 3 role players who probably combined don't average 20 points a game.
Yeah, and I feel like the Cavs, I feel like when they try to build this team, for one, they didn't expect Kevin Durant to go to Golden State.
Right.
They basically just said, here's LeBron, here's Kyrie, here's Love, now let's go pay some people, support players. They have like a lot of veteran players too that
They're the oldest team in the league. Richard Jefferson is up there. J.R. Smith is in his 30s.
And so, I mean, they spent a lot of money, and now I don't know how they're going to get out of it. I mean, they're going to have to get rid of some of those people, clear up some cap space.
The 2 names I've heard that could be traded are, firstly, Kevin Love, which I think makes more sense. The other one is Kyrie Irving could be dealt.
Yeah.
And I've heard Carmelo Anthony could take a pay cut to come play in Cleveland if the Knicks will release him, or the Knicks could work something out with the Cavs as far as trade goes. But does Carmelo Anthony put you on the same level as the Warriors?
I was about to say, do you think Carmelo's even a good acquisition for him?
No, because
I don't.
I think Carmelo would demand the ball too much, even still at 31, and not the player he was 4 or 5 years ago. And I just don't think attitude-wise you want Carmelo Anthony and that ball hog mentality to be a part of this Cavs team, which works really well on them. I mean, they're one of the top teams in assists every year. So I don't like Carmelo going, but who could they bring in? I mean, I know the other sexy name is Paul George, but you're not going to have the cap to sign him, keep Kyrie, keep LeBron, keep Kevin Love. You're going to have to finagle it some way. But does Paul George then make the Warriors and the Cavs more even?
You know, I don't know. It's kind of what I was thinking is it's like, if I'm the Cavs, it's like do you try to build more offense or do you try to slow down Golden State defense? That's really the only team you're going to compete with, I think. So you know what I mean? Which way do you go? I heard that they're talking about maybe trading Kevin Love for Paul George.
I would like that.
Yeah, I would like that move.
Because I think instantly you get better defense from Paul George, better offense from Paul George, and I think you have a little bit more of a long-term setup. You have more alluring option to keep LeBron from going to LA or New York or Brooklyn or somewhere, although Brooklyn's in bad shape now.
Yeah.
3 years ago maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Paul George for Kevin Love. But then you still look at the Golden State Warriors. They still got 4 guys who are good to superstar range, whereas Cleveland now just still has the big 3. They've got Kyrie, LeBron, and Paul George. So then what would they have to add with Paul George and Kevin Love gone?
Yeah, I mean, if with the way they did their cap space, I mean, you're
Dumb.
gonna have to either find a good veteran player that you can bring in that'll take the cut. I mean, another thing is someone might take a pay cut to go there to fight Golden State. It's like a superhero movie anymore. You know what I mean?
It is. It's Avengers versus Justice League.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There's a
you know what I
crossover.
mean? You've gotta hop on one side. So I think, I don't know, they might be able to pick up. I don't have any names in mind really, but they might be able to get someone that's gonna take a pay cut.
How about CP3?
Well,
And then have Kyrie and CP3 both play. Have Kyrie play more of the combo 2, CP at 1. Then you'd have LeBron. Kevin Love could stay. Tristan at center.
yeah, and see, that's what I was. Well, because I think CP's contract is it up this
He's a
year?
free agent.
Right?
Yeah, and he has said he is going to test the market. San Antonio's interested, Clippers, and then Denver, of all teams. It's
Well,
not going to happen.
Selfishly,
Exactly.
Denver, but that's not going to happen probably.
No.
But see, I don't know. Like, well, I'd like to know what the Clippers cap space is, because it's like, if he re-signs with the Clippers, then LeBron goes
To LA.
to LA next year. You know what I mean? Then you have CP, LeBron.
Blake and DeAndre
Blake.
Jordan. That's a scary lineup.
Yeah, that's an all-star team. But
Then you have to compete with Golden State. Exactly. 4 times a year, plus the playoffs. But I guess that eliminates having to go through them in the finals.
But then
you get to the East and you're like, oh,
the finals
I got
happens
this.
a round earlier, and then you have a sweep every finals.
Yeah.
But I mean, Cavs have got to do something. I feel like they're going to have to get rid of some of these overpriced contracts, either dump them or trade them off or something.
They've got to get younger, I think.
They
don't want to go rookies and guys who are untested. But if you look at the Golden State Warriors bench, yes, you have David West, who's a ring chaser, but you also have McCaw, who's young. Livingston is kind of that mid-range veteran. I mean, they've got young guys. Andre's a little older, Iguodala, but they've got a good mix of young and old, so that they're not too old.
Yeah,
and they've got depth.
they do. It's hard to compete with. Cavs have to get younger though, but at the same time they have to get better.
Yeah, how do you do both with no cap space?
Yeah.
So they're just screwed.
They really messed themselves
Should we
up.
just give Golden State the title now?
Probably. Yeah, I think I'm just waiting for 2018 till they make a super team in LA.
What do you think the rest of the league is going to do this offseason? Does the rest of the league say, how do we compete with the Cleveland Cavaliers and Golden State? I mean, do they try to? I mean, obviously San Antonio is going to court CP3, as is Houston. But what are teams like Oklahoma City and Boston and some of these teams, Toronto?
Yeah, I feel like Boston's main is going to be the draft.
Markelle Fultz.
They got 2 second overall?
They're number 1.
Oh, they're number 1.
They're
okay.
1 by way of
The
trade, and
Lakers
then
are 2,
the
right?
Lakers are number 2. Yeah.
So, I mean, Boston, whoever they do pick up.
But that's not going to be an instant, right away piece that'll put them
I don't
over
think
the
so. Come
top.
over the Cavs. No, I think like I don't know. I feel like a lot of teams to compete next year. There's probably few. I think if CP goes to the Spurs, that would be pretty cool.
Especially if Kawhi stays healthy and is improving like he has improved over the last 5-6 years.
So I mean, that would be fun to see. Actually,
As fun as it could be to root for the Spurs, because I have a hard time rooting for the Spurs just as a fan, because they are kind of the Patriots of the NBA in a lot of ways. But I would like to see someone combat Golden State in the West. I mean, OKC with Durant did okay a couple years ago, but now Durant is obviously... And they want to keep Durant and Curry, which I think they will.
that's another thing. Yeah, like Golden State, they have their lineup pretty locked up till like 2019. I think it
Yeah,
is.
they're pretty set.
It's gonna be. They're gonna be who they are.
So should I just stop watching basketball?
Probably. You should take my route, what I did this season, and start watching in the conference finals.
Even then.
Check the scores. And
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really see anyone making too big of a move to compete, really.
I think Paul George
I don't know what he could
could
do.
make a splash. CP3 could make a splash.
Mm-hmm.
If Carmelo leaves, maybe if he goes to the right situation, maybe if Cleveland somehow could add Paul George and Carmelo Anthony, maybe, and get rid of Kevin Love, then maybe I would see that working a little bit. But then you have three guys who take up the same space.
Yeah. What about like a Paul George and a CP in Cleveland?
That'd be a great lineup.
You know what I mean?
That'd be
Trade
great.
Love,
Keep
get Paul
Kyrie.
George.
That could challenge the Warriors, I think.
I think that would be pretty nice.
Also, if Michael Jordan got in shape and Scottie Pippen and Karl Malone and
Came
were
back.
20 years younger and they signed up, then maybe the Bulls could compete.
Went to the Wizards.
Yeah, the Wizards. Wizards are a team that could.
Yeah.
I mean, with Beal and Wall, they could be a Paul George away from competing a little more with the Cavs. I don't think anyone's going to knock the Cavs off, though.
Yeah, I don't see it. Just because LeBron. You know what I mean?
How about Jimmy Butler in Cleveland?
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. I did hear about possibly Kyrie Irving to the Butler.
He's a Chicago boy. Go home like
Mhm.
LeBron did.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Kyrie Irving. I don't
I do
think
too.
Kyrie Irving's a problem.
He played
I think-
great in the finals.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think him and James. I think those are the two key players you want to retain. So I think if you're gonna get rid of someone, get rid of Kevin Love.
Love and Thompson.
You know,
I think
exactly,
you use
yeah.
those two as centerpieces for trades and go get
Yeah.
somebody.
See, the thing with Thompson, it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be hard to get rid of him because of that contract.
It's gonna be real hard because it's way over. He's way overvalued.
Mhm.
The Cavs really did not do themselves any favors, giving
No.
him $16 million a year. So the NBA is over. So now we have the draft, which we'll talk about next week as we get closer, and then the other thing we have is awards. The NBA decided to do kind of what the NFL is doing. They're going to have an awards show after the season. So we'll kind of give our awards, and we'll start with Rookie of the Year. Good luck. A real disappointing rookie class. Obviously, Ben Simmons injured. And then, really, it's Joel Embiid, right? I mean, the Blake Griffin effect. He sits out his entire year. Misses most of this year, but still, of all the rookies, put up numbers. I mean, no one else really did anything, right?
I was looking at him, but I was like, how did Joel? He played 31 games.
31.
How could we give him a Rookie of the Year MVP or a Rookie of the Year award? So that made me sway. I went Dario.
Dario Saric. Another Philadelphia 76er.
Yep.
All right.
I know, nothing impressive. 13 points.
Oh.
Played 81 games.
Wow.
He was averaging more points than Joel. I think Joel was only like 12 or something.
Yeah.
And 13 points, 6 rebounds. Like, it's nothing great, but yeah, you're right. The class was so poor. And I mean, the fact he played 50 more games on the same damn team, I gotta go Dario Saric.
Yeah,
Definitely one to forget.
I think Dario probably, because he played the whole season, does deserve it more than Joel Embiid. But I'll play devil's advocate. I think Joel Embiid, with the expectation, with the mess that is Philadelphia, I would give him consideration. I wouldn't be upset if he ends up winning. You know what disappoints me is that had Mike Malone played Jamal Murray more minutes, we might be having a discussion about Jamal Murray being Rookie of the Year, because he showed more flashes than Saric, than any of the guys who were kind of thought of as being top-notch rookies this year. But he averaged, 17, 18 minutes a game, didn't really get that opportunity. I think Jamal Murray could have averaged 15, 16 a game had he been given the opportunity.
Yeah, I think if he had more minutes, you're probably right. He probably would be the front runner.
Maybe that's just our home team bias.
Possibly.
We're just homers.
But, no, I mean, it's true. I mean, I think he's one of the finalists, right? I believe.
Yeah.
He's the other third finalist in the running. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. I think that he was more productive than Joel.
Yeah.
For sure.
Meant more to his team down the stretch. Obviously, the Nuggets were kind of in the playoff hunt up until the last week or so.
Yeah,
but
exactly. I mean, they only were a game or two away from making the playoffs.
yeah, a loss to Portland here and there, an extra win, and they get in. Also, Russell Westbrook heave, and the Nuggets could have gotten destroyed by Golden State in the first round.
Yeah, that would have been fun. We could have went to the game.
Yeah, could have watched Steph Curry and KD score 190 points. How about most improved player of the year?
Greek Freak. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
He has the one nickname that I liked better than the Greek Freak, and I think it was probably Barkley or Shaq. They called him the Alphabet because he has almost every letter of the alphabet. Yeah, Giannis Antetokounmpo is tremendous. Yeah, I practiced that. Yeah, he really had a great season, All-Star. Helped the Bucks be a relevant team along with Jabari Parker. But I'm gonna go hometown bias, and I'm gonna go with the Joker. Not as good a nickname, admittedly. I'm gonna go Nikola Jokic.
Okay.
I think what he was able to do at that post position, the triple doubles, the fact that he could rebound, score, pass, shoot. I think he took the biggest leap from season A to season B. Whereas Giannis, I think we've seen sort of this steady rise the last 2-3 years. And he's starting to play to his potential because everyone said this is the next LeBron or KD type or Paul George type. Whereas Nikola Jokic has this coming out party for Serbia in the Olympics and then just transitions right to the NBA season.
Yeah, I think, Greek Freak's a bigger name, so I feel like he's getting more publicity. But you're right, it has been. This is his fourth year in. I mean, it's been a slow climb to where he's been getting. So I mean, I could see your argument. I definitely could, but I mean, he was 23-9. I mean, compared to last year, I mean, all of his stats went up pretty good. His points almost went up 10, rebounds up 2, and he did make the Bucks relevant, which I don't know. I like his name too.
He's got a great name.
We can't underestimate the name.
The Alphabet. The Alphabet Murderer. How about we go? The Alphabet Killer.
How do you say it? Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll forget that.
And his brother Giannis was on Golden State's squad. I don't know that they kept him throughout the year, but yeah, Giannis and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Do you think they charge them more for their jerseys?
Yeah, those jerseys are extra because of how much stitching on those letters. The Bucks also have cool jerseys. Their black alternate jerseys are one of the coolest threads in the NBA. But I'm gonna go Nuggets. I'm gonna go to Nikola Jokic. Although I do think
he's just gonna make a run, huh? He's gonna go home with all the awards.
Who's that?
The Nuggets.
Yeah. Rookie of the year. They're gonna get coach. They'll never get coach of the year with Mike. I don't know what I'm doing Malone. Who do you think is the coach of the year? Is it Steve Kerr? Is it Brad Stevens in Boston?
Yeah, it was. I feel like giving it to Kerr. This is cheating. Is he really a good coach? I don't know. You know what I mean?
He's more of like a really good herder of cats because that's all he really has to do is.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Steve Kerr. I think he knows what he's doing, but Luke Walton also helped lead that team to a 73-9 season last year when Kerr was out. Same with Tyronn Lue, I think. You've got that
100%.
talent. That's why I like Pop or Stevens, guys like that who are actually having to do something with less.
Yeah, they actually have to coach. They actually have to strategize. They have to do plays. It's not just get in there and let LeBron tell you what we're doing.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, yeah, I say Pop. That's who I got.
You going Pop?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Brad Stevens. You got the 1 seed in the East. You get to a conference final. You do it with a young team. I mean, Al Horford was the only player you brought in. And, I mean, Isaiah Thomas, I think, also could be a most improved player of the year candidate. I think Isaiah Thomas really benefited from and has benefited from Brad Stevens saying, okay, you're the team leader and I'm going to develop you into that.
Yeah, this is your team and go for it. And I mean, yeah, he played out of his mind too.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Could be an MVP candidate. Won't win it, but could be up there.
Wouldn't that be crazy? What if I like a lot of what ifs, I guess, don't I? But what if the Celtics did go and they did knock off Cleveland?
Man,
That'd be crazy.
we'd be talking.
We'd be talking.
I mean, I think Golden State would have destroyed Boston. I think more than they destroyed Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I think LeBron's legacy, we'd be definitely talking about him not being as great as we thought. Because, I mean, you look at it on paper, Cavaliers way better team than Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Than Boston.
Boston, yeah.
Than the Celtics. So let's talk MVP. It's Russ, right? I mean, you average a triple-double.
That's who I gave it to.
It's got to be Russ.
But, I mean, I say Russell, but only because I don't want to give it to LeBron every year because I think he's the most valuable player to his team every year pretty much. But, I mean, how do you not give it a triple-double average? Like, that's insane. He's making triple-doubles not special, really.
There will be arguments that because his team was a 6 seed, because they lost early in the playoffs, that Harden, whose team was, the third best team in the West, had a great season, or Kevin Durant, who comes to the Warriors, and then I think his postseason kind of helps his regular season out. So there will be arguments that those guys deserve the MVP more, but to me, what Russell Westbrook did this year was special. And without Russell Westbrook, if you take Westbrook off OKC, do they even make the playoffs?
I can't imagine it.
I don't think they win 25 games without Russell
I was
Westbrook.
going to say, they're going to be bottom of the West.
If you take LeBron off of the Cavs with Kyrie and Kevin Love, could they be the 5 or 6 seed in the East?
Yeah,
probably.
In the East, yeah.
If you take KD off Golden State, are they still a playoff team?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
But, I mean, Houston, though, if you took James Harden off the Rockets.
Yeah, and I remember James Harden was like, well, I think wins should be the most important thing. So
Of course he does.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously. But I don't know. I just, wins are important, but, they're knocking for the 6th seed. But I mean, that's still that's a lot of team effort. You know what I mean? Most valuable player, not most valuable player on most valuable team. I just feel like it's impossible to not give it to Russ.
The first player since Oscar Robertson.
Yeah, in
the
62,
60s.
something like 63. Yeah, I was like
to average a triple double, and in this era and he's 6'4". I mean, he's a guard.
Yeah,
averaging a triple double, 10 rebounds.
How does he get 10 boards a game? How are people letting him do it?
I mean, he just plays angry. He plays with the tenacity. I love watching Russell Westbrook play. I think he's the most exciting player in the league just because of what he does on a night-in, night-out basis. But if he doesn't win MVP, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to boycott the NBA for the summer. Not for a year. I can't go without the NBA, but it's got to be Russ. But you're right. LeBron could win it every year because what he does, rebounding, assists, steals, shooting percentage, scoring, even though his scoring is down. I mean, he's still the best player in the game.
Yeah, exactly. But it's boring to give it to him every year.
Yeah.
Can't do that. I mean, how many does he have already?
5.
5, yeah. So
yeah.
He's maxed out. It's time to give Russ credit down there in OKC.
Russ should get one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's NBA talk for this week. Let's move to a completely different sport because this was maybe the biggest headline in all of sports this week. So Conor McGregor and Floyd Money Mayweather are actually going to fight. I did not think this was going to happen. They've announced the date, August 26th. Do you care? Do you want to see this fight? As an MMA fan, do you want to see this?
As an MMA fan, big MMA fan, mild boxing fan.
Yeah.
No, I don't care to watch it. Honestly, I'm not gonna pay for it. I heard it's gonna be $100 pay-per-view. I'm just not really gonna watch it. I mean, everyone hates Floyd because he's so cocky, he's so arrogant, but
Isn't Conor just as cocky and arrogant?
yeah, it is. It's interesting. It's the way you do it, I guess. I think.
Is it the way you do it, or does it go deeper than that? Does it have something to do with something else?
No. No. I think it's better with Conor because Conor is humble and lost. When he lost to Nate Diaz.
Well, Conor has lost.
Yeah.
Floyd, we don't know if Floyd's humble and lost.
Yeah,
he's never done it.
I find it very hard to believe he's a humble person at all. But I never met him. But I mean, I think that's how come Conor gets passed because I was actually thinking about that particular thing. Like in MMA, I mean, there's some dudes that are as cocky as Conor McGregor.
Anderson Silva.
But yeah, and I mean, Anderson's looked at as a good guy, but he was pretty humble in defeat too. But like,
that's true.
Brock Lesnar is an asshole, and when he loses,
by all accounts,
when he loses or when he wins, he's still an asshole. So you know what I mean? He talks shit, but everyone hates him.
Yeah,
because he's just not humble. You know. So, but back to the fight. I mean, is Conor gonna land a punch?
If this was in the octagon, would you feel differently?
Oh, if this was in the octagon?
Do you think it'd be a better fight in the octagon than it will be in the squared circle?
No, I don't think so, because I think it'll be equally lopsided. I mean, Conor McGregor in the octagon, I mean, it's totally different. You know what I mean? You can trap them against the cage, and they're not going to break it up. Like, you can piece someone up, stuck against the cage, take them down. Conor, everyone talked about Conor stand-up, but Conor's not a chump on the ground either.
Sure.
So, I mean, you go to the MMA...
Get Floyd down and it's over.
Mm-hmm. Ground and pound him. But then the same in the boxing ring. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is a bad dude. Like, he's a killer boxer.
There's a reason he's undefeated and held every belt that there was for his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only way this is interesting is if you put them in a very confined space, tell them they can't block punches or dodge punches, and just it's a slobber knocker. It's hit for hit. This doesn't interest me. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a lot of build-up. It's going to be like Mayweather and Pacquiao. Mayweather and Pacquiao, when Pacquiao was in his prime, would have been great.
Yeah.
There was so much build-up and so much drama getting the fight, and then the fight comes around and Mayweather just does what Mayweather does. He lands punches that he needs to land, he dodges what he needs to dodge, and wins by decision. Makes the most money and goes home. That's what this is going to... And I don't even know... No one's going to knock each other out. This isn't going to be... I mean, Conor would have the better chance if he could land something.
Yeah.
But I think the disparity between MMA and boxing, just the difference in the two sports, is really going to be on display here.
Just because they're combat sports, they're not similar.
No.
And I mean... yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be 12 rounds of Floyd dodging everything and hitting Conor 50% punches, getting points. It's going to be dull, and I think that they're both going to walk out pretty uninjured, honestly. I don't see...
Uninjured and very wealthy.
Yeah. I don't knock them for doing it. I would do it too. Who wouldn't for that kind of money? But I don't see it being very entertaining.
No.
One thing I will say that the only way I can see Conor winning is because he's got to catch Floyd once, really rattle him. Conor is size-wise, I'm pretty sure he's bigger than anyone Floyd has fought. Conor is a pretty big dude for I don't think that they released the weight they're fighting at.
I'd be curious to see if Conor's got to drop, or I'm going to imagine Conor's going to have to cut. Floyd is not going to say, oh no, I'll go up.
We'll see. Yeah, and I think that they're going to fight at like 158 or something. That's what my gut is. That's where Conor's belt is currently at in the UFC. It's 155. Floyd usually fights around that weight.
Yeah.
I mean, Conor is walking around probably 175. So that's another question. Is the cut in MMA is I feel like it's more extreme. I don't know if he's going to be used to the 12 rounds.
Well, that's a lot of fighting. I mean, you're used to 5 if it's a championship bout, 5 of 5, and then otherwise it's 3 of 5. Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, I think boxing requires a little less endurance in terms of cardio conditioning because there's not as much movement as in MMA typically. But at the same time, getting into the squared circle with a trained boxer, Mayweather, one of the best boxers of all time, pound for pound. I mean, boxing is a very tactical and very strategic sport. Not to say that MMA isn't, but I think, standing and not having the ability to go to the ground makes it a different kind of strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. I mean, there was a video of Conor boxing, and it just he looks so MMA style in his movements and stuff. and he was getting tagged up by the guy he was training with. I don't see it turning out very entertaining.
No.
But like I said, Connor's got the size. Connor's stronger. He's got more power. Connor's got a better reach. He's got him by 2 inches. Connor's 74. Mayweather's 72.
Tail of the tape on the Lukewarm podcast. I like it. Where's Joe Rogan?
Do my research here. But another downside is Connor's power is going to get kind of negated by the glove size.
Well, and I think also, and by Mayweather's speed, because Mayweather's not known as a power puncher. He's a speed guy. Mm-hmm. Connor's got that power kind of, with being a bigger guy at his weight.
Yeah, so I don't find it too intriguing.
What's your prediction right now? 2 months out.
Floyd wins by decision every single round. 10-9, 12 rounds.
I think...
120, 108.
And does Vegas even stand anything to win by this? I mean, who's going to go bet millions of dollars on Conor McGregor?
Maybe not millions at a time, but I did read a lot of people are putting money on Conor.
Because it'd be a big payout, but it's not going to happen.
No, exactly.
Prop bets. I think Conor lands a punch. That might be a prop bet worth laying some money on.
I think it opened like 2,250 or something in positive for Floyd.
Yeah.
Something crazy. Huge. Something you'll never see in MMA.
No.
But,
I worry about there being shady stuff in this, too, where they make them go, like you see in the movies where it's like, hey, you're going to make sure this lasts 12, or hey, he's going to go down. Mm-hmm. Like, I always wonder about that. Not so much with MMA. I feel like MMA has not had that dirtiness attached to it yet. But boxing has long been a very shady and organized crime-riddled sport. So I worry about that. That it might be more made interesting by telling Floyd, like, hey, you're going to make more money if you let Conor land a couple. That'd be my fear.
I could see it.
Yeah.
It's going to be boring, but there's going to be so many people buying it. Yeah. $100 a pop.
His middle name is Money for a reason.
See, I would rather see Conor go back to UFC.
Me too.
And defend.
Yeah.
So that's what I would rather see. Honestly, I don't think Conor's going to go back after this fight, to be honest.
What does he do?
He's always said he goes in, he's in here, he's in the fight game, he's getting paid, and then he's going to leave unscathed and go live his life. This is his payday. He's going to
drink Guinness and kiss redheaded women?
Yep. He's going to make 9 figures probably. I mean, I don't see him definitely not going back to boxing. I don't see him going back to UFC.
Could he go to like WWE? Could he go and be a personality?
Yeah. I mean, he's got the personality, he's got the charisma to do more of like an acting kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
maybe the Ronda Rousey sort of gig.
Yeah. I think he'd be way better than Ronda too, because I think Ronda's pretty dull and she's a pretty terrible actor. Note Fast and Furious.
I was gonna say you didn't think she was great in the Expendables '94.
But I don't think WWE will pay Conor enough either.
Yeah, he's gonna command quite a pay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go from the toughest sport in the world to the second toughest sport in the world. So the U.S. men's national team actually pulled off a draw. Michael Bradley hit the goal of his life.
Jeez.
Christian Pulisic almost hit the goal of his life late, almost got the winner. We both talked about that it would be big for them just to get the draw, to be up there in the hex with Costa Rica and Mexico. So now, almost a week later, how big was the draw in Azteca, where they've only had one draw and they usually get destroyed?
Yeah. Oh, man. It's the way it played out, honestly, I almost feel like a letdown. Because they did get that goal, and they got it so early on some luckiness almost. You know what I mean? Why was he playing so up? But he stole the pass well, and he had a great chip shot to get it in there. And it's like it feels like a letdown, really, because I feel like they should have won. So they let Mexico score fairly quickly after that.
Where I'm encouraged though is before. I think U.S. men go up 1-0, then it gets tied 1-1, and then they lose 2-1. because they give up that goal. But
Mhm.
I really felt like, A, their offense was still aggressive till the end, and B, they also played defense till the end. So when they were balanced and still trying to win, I think in the past they would have just said, we're going to sit back and draw. But they were playing for the win. And so that's encouraging to me against one of the best teams in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, that I did like that. A lot of times in soccer too, I mean, you will see teams just super defensive
Yeah,
to go for the tie because that's what they want. They just need that point.
that 1 point.
So I mean, it was good to see them continue the attack, play a balance. Don't give up the goal, but still try to win this game. I think that they knew how important it would have been. Polsek saying they're going to go in and win too. I don't know. It's crazy because I feel like he might have actually really kind of given the team, some I don't know. I'm trying to think momentum, maybe
Yeah.
something like that.
I think it just boosts their confidence.
The confidence, yeah. That's
You have this
better
guy
word.
who everyone is talking about being the next great soccer player, and he comes in, scores 2 goals against Trinidad and Tobago, and then comes out, almost scores a huge goal against Mexico. I mean, the U.S. men's national team have to feel much better now than they did a year ago, when they were struggling, when the World Cup looked way out of reach. But now they have a really good chance of getting to the World Cup next year, which, to miss the World Cup, where men's soccer is right now, would be devastating.
It would be. It's almost, you would think they're almost a guarantee in it, and the fact that there was a possibility where it's like, this is not looking good for us. The fact that they have turned around, it does look a lot more promising. So I'm kind of excited to see when the World Cup does come around.
Yeah.
To see what we can do.
It's hard to get pumped for the World Cup when the U.S. aren't in it.
Yeah.
It's still a great tournament, and you still have Ronaldo, you still have Messi, you still have Jaime Rodriguez, Neymar, but it's just always interesting, especially with the success that the U.S. had last time in the World Cup. Where they got to the final 8 and were actually playing in the quarters and just barely losing to Belgium. There's a lot to be excited about, and we'd like to continue that excitement. I'm a soccer fan. I know you're a soccer guy too, so we both want to see U.S. men
It's exciting, yeah.
succeed.
I do want them to get out of group play. It's crazy when they did get out of group play. It's a lot
fun.
more exciting. It is.
It's fun to just actually care about soccer for a couple weeks.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of times people that don't care about soccer, they will care when the World Cup comes around.
Yeah.
Especially if they do get out of the group play. So it looks promising.
Yeah. So we'll wrap up the show this week with NHL talk because we're such experts at the NHL. But we'll keep it pretty simple again. So the Pens finished off the Predators last weekend. Sidney Crosby now has 3 rings. Evgeny Malkin has 2. They went back-to-back. First team since the 97-98 Red Wings to do that. So we'll talk about the team first, then we'll talk about Sid the Kid. Team, where would you put them in regards to that Red Wings team? And even some of the recent teams like the Boston Bruins, Chicago Blackhawks that have been a little more dominant.
I don't really know if I know enough about hockey to really place them, honestly. I do know I was a much bigger hockey fan back in the early 2000s when the Avs were doing
good.
well.
Yeah.
It's crazy how I was a Nuggets fan back when the Nuggets were doing well. But
So you're saying you're a bandwagon?
a little bit for the home team,
At least it's the home team, yeah.
But I don't think that I know enough to really place them in where they're at,
How impressive is the back-to-back?
I think the back-to-back is impressive. I'm not going to rate them, but it's something. It's like the NFL where it's rare. It doesn't happen much. It's much harder to do.
The NBA is really the only sport where it's been constant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you've got to give him credit for the back-to-back. Crosby's been one of the best players in the league for how long now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, going on a decade.
Mm-hmm. So it was fun, and the game was really good too. It was 0-0 the whole game. First goal came with a minute and a half left, I believe.
Yeah.
So I did watch the game. It was actually exciting and fun, and
much more than the NBA Finals, probably.
Yeah.
How about Sid the Kid? Is he up there with Wayne Gretzky then?
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of like the untouchable, right, in hockey.
That's the Jordan of hockey.
But I mean, he's been dominating for a decade. He's got 3 titles. I mean, he's got to be up there.
He was touted as the next Gretzky.
Yeah.
He's won Olympic championships, World championships. I mean, three rings in hockey is hard. If you think about the fact that I think Gretzky has 3, Mario Lemieux I think has 2. I mean, I would say he's up there with like a guy like Sakic or Forsberg, Waugh, Yzerman, guys like that. I mean, maybe he's approaching Lemieux, Gretzky, guys, in that kind of, or Howe, guys like that. I mean, do you think he's the best player in the game right now?
I don't know about now. I mean, I feel like his team,
He's got a stacked team.
Yeah, he's got a good team, so it's not like he's just carrying the whole team. I mean,
Evgeny Malkin is just as important as he is to this.
Yeah, I can't say he's the best player right now, but I mean, he could be. It's kind of hard to say, I guess, because he does have such a solid team around him. But it's hard to say. I'm not sure.
Can they win a 3rd in a row?
No.
In hockey?
Probably not.
Yeah, there's no way.
That seems pretty rare.
Especially with, there's a lot of these younger teams, the Predators, the Oilers, they've got the next guy that could be the next great one.
The next Sidney
McDavid,
Crosby.
yeah. The Blackhawks are still going to be there. They've still got the same talent, hopefully. And then hockey, there's injuries. It's so hard to repeat in hockey, and I think it's similar to football in that you take such a beating that teams get hot at the right time and get into the playoffs and just roll through.
Yeah.
Like the Kings did a few years ago as an 8 seed. I mean,
yeah, you're right. It's the injuries. It's a tough sport. Like football, and they play 82 games and not 16.
Yeah, and don't have a week off between, and don't have teeth to chew their protein.
Protein shakes.
Well, that's going to do it for episode 2. Make sure you check us out. We're on YouTube. And, any closing thoughts? What are you looking forward to this next week in sports? It's one of the slowest weeks in sports. We've got the U.S. Open going on right now. We're into that sort of thing. Got the NBA draft coming up. What are you looking forward to most?
I was kind of following golf, actually. I don't really care about the draft too much. I'm not a big draft fan of any sport. So I guess let's see who pulls it off out there at the Open.
Let's go Ricky Fowler. Till next week, we'll have more on the NBA draft. We will talk about it, IEA draft coverage too, and we'll talk US Open winner. And we'll talk about Colin Kaepernick. We've been wanting to get to this the last couple of weeks, haven't had time. But next week we'll talk to Colin Kaepernick, and then we'll talk some depressing Chicago Cubs baseball. It's all in episode 3.